Thanks once again for dropping by the channel. If you like the content, if you're new to the channel, please hit subscribe, share the video if you enjoyed it, if you felt it was useful. Now let's get into this. Quote from Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn on the IFL. Says Eddie Hearn has revealed he is planning for Callum Smith and Billy Joe Saunders to have fights by the end of November before potentially unifying in February or March of next year. He adds that he wants the WBC to order Smith versus Avni Yildirim for the vacant WBC title. I mean, that's wishful thinking from Eddie Hearn. That is just, yeah, he's reaching there. I mean, they could have done that. I think literally they should have done that. But they gave it to Canelo instead. That is wishful thinking from Eddie Hearn. I mean, if he really thinks they're going to do that, then Canelo is their darling. He is their golden boy. So, Yildirim versus Alvarez. I think there's even a purse bid due for that fight. So, that ain't going to happen. But what he says about Callum Smith and Billy Joe Saunders having fights at the end of November. Callum Smith, he will have been out of the ring a year by November. I mean, Jesus, people. The amount of fighters who've been out of the ring for over a year, it's crazy. Billy Joe, again, he'll be out of the ring over a year. There's nothing new for him at this stage. But both having fights at the end of November, who would they be fighting? Probably not great opposition, you would imagine, just given the short notice. I'm not saying short notice, but given the landscape we're in, they wouldn't be the greatest. So, Smith versus Saunders. Now, I could see Callum Smith having a fight at the end of November, but Billy Joe, he's so up in the air, he's so hit and miss. God only knows what's happening with him. Seriously, like, God only knows if he's going to be fighting this year or if he's even going to fight next year. But if he fights next year and it's in a unification with Callum Smith, March or February, I'm all for that. That fight would definitely take place in the UK, be a pay-per-view. It would be a big fight. Fans in attendance, I mean, February next year, yeah. You would say you probably get full fans in there. Would it be a stadium fight? Probably not. Probably do it in if they wanted to do it, they'd probably do it in a neutral venue like the MEN. It's not called anymore. It's probably called the Manchester Arena or someone like that. Probably do it somewhere like that. But that definitely is a fight that I would like to see. It would be interesting because if you think about it like this, you'd have an undersized super middleweight in Billy Joe, who I'd assume makes the weight reasonably comfortably, even though he does blow up in between fights. He'd still make it pretty comfortably. And you've Callum Smith, he's a flipping cruiserweight. You know, how he makes this weight. And I'm telling you now, that year out of the ring won't make him, and it won't help him. It won't make him make the weight any easier. If anything, it'll make it harder because, you know, he will have not been training as hard, so he'll have filled out a little bit in terms of just his natural size and weight. So, Callum Smith, damn cruiserweight. Billy Joe really is a middleweight. But Callum Smith, we've seen him against a southpaw in John Ryder have some troubles with John Ryder moving, his head moving. Billy Joe can move his head. It'd be an interesting fight. I'd quite like to see it. You know, I would quite like to see that fight. Billy Joe, Callum Smith, be interesting. Well, I'm not sure who I'd go for in that fight, really. Really have to depend. I'd almost pick based on how I see Smith on the scales. Seriously. But that is a fight that I'd be intrigued at. Billy Joe, right? And like, I hate going off on Billy Joe or saying this, that, and the other, because people think I'm a hater. Like, I'm sure some people do. I don't hate Billy Joe. I like watching Billy Joe. I think he's a great boxer, but he just does so much dumb stuff that I'm not just going to give it a pass. It's Billy Joe not getting these big fights made. A lot of people blame Frank Warren for it. But looking at it now, right, in retrospect, do you really think it was Frank Warren's fault that he couldn't get these fights made when you consider Billy Joe getting offered Canelo fights saying, don't have enough time, money's not right, you know, etc., etc. It's just a thought one. It's like, we always figured it was Frank Warren, but maybe it was Billy Joe all along who was just, you know, a struggle to work with, a struggle to get these fights made. Because Eddie Hearn has literally done nothing for Billy Joe. He's fought the Argentinian guy in the KSI undercard last year and nothing since. Obviously the Canelo fight, but all this, you know, what's going. But even still, he could have had the Canelo fight in September, could have had it last week, potentially, if he took the offer that was given to him. But I'm digressing. I'm talking about something else. Yes, Smith versus Billy Joe. All for that. I'd like to see it next year. If neither guy can get the Canelo fight each other. That's literally the next best thing. I'm sure the winner can probably get the Canelo fight. So if you can't get the Canelo fight each other. You know, I wouldn't mind seeing the fight. In terms of Smith getting the crack at Yildirim, hell no. Can't see that happening. The WBC won't just they will get, you know, no, they won't do that to Canelo. Not a hope. That's wishful thinking from Hearn. But in terms of Smith versus Saunders, yep, Let me see that fight. All for it. Next year, hopefully. Don't know who I picked though. I'll be on the fence. If I had to if I had to really pick, put a gun to my head, I'd say Billy Joe. Billy Joe. But not at all confident about that. Not at all confident. So I want to keep this video short and sweet because I've been recording all evening. And I still have one more video to do. So let me know your thoughts down below. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please smash that like button. It helps the channel out so much. Subscribe, of course, if you haven't already. As always, people, I will talk to you after. Peace out.